to my cross-stitching channel for another monthly update. This is the first one I've done in like a year. My last video was a whip parade, so thank you to everybody who came by to watch that and left wonderful comments. You guys are so sweet. I love how kind and supportive everybody is. I had more than one person say they just miss seeing me, which really made my day. So I am back for my progress that I got done in January. It's actually higher than I thought it would be. So like I didn't start school. So in my last video, I mentioned that I started school again this month, or sorry, January. We're in February now. So I started about halfway through January. So I did have a couple of weeks there where I had some extra time and I was able to kind of amp up my stitching a bit. It's probably going to drop pretty significantly through February. Obviously it's a short month, and then I'm doing like the wheel rotation that I mentioned in my last video, and I'm only going through maybe 2 or 3 projects a week. So it's maybe adding up to like 1,000 stitches a week, if that. Sometimes I don't even get that, so we'll see how it goes. I'm happy with the progress I got done, and I'm enjoying the wheel rotation that I've got going. So before I get started, apologies if the light is a little weird. It is super gloomy and dreary. It was raining yesterday. I think it might rain again. It's windy, so the light is terrible. So I brought out my ring light, which means that the light is going to be a little bit different, but hopefully it won't mess up the images too bad. So I did manage to get through all 9 of my whips. That's all of my whips right now. I've considered starting some new things, which I might. I was considering starting something maybe for like my birthday in August or something, but for right now, I'm just kind of trying to focus on this, although I am feeling the pull to start things lately, so we'll see. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. This is going to probably be a short and sweet kind of video, but the first thing I worked on was Tarot 2. This is my oldest whip, and it is a chart from Ciro Marchetti. Oh, sorry, designed by Ciro Marchetti, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I got 1,005 stitches, and I'm sitting at 39.88%. And so I do have a lot more done, but I'm just going to focus on where I worked, which was over here in this page. So you should be able to see what I got done from last time. Obviously in full coverage, like a big one, like a full-size one, 1,000 stitches doesn't really go that far, but still progress. So if you can see, it's just all basically been in this block stitching across the background. And then I did start moving into this hot air balloon that was right there. And I think I have decided how I want to work this one as far as which way. I think I'm going to, I was considering doing like diagonal pages. I've obviously been going like straight across for the last 3 rows, but I've kind of burned myself out on that. So I think I'm going to take this, which is actually a partial page. It's not a very small partial page, but it's a partial page. And I was thinking of taking this row all the way down to the bottom, and that way I can maybe get into some newer areas so I don't get so bored and burnt out with all the confetti and the details. So we'll see. But got 1,000 stitches on that in January, and I'm happy with that. So that was project number 1. Oh no. I thought I set myself up so well here, and I have like nowhere to put things, so I might just have to use the floor. Okay. So the second thing I worked on was Beloved, another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. The artist is Adele Sessler. Oh, I remember what I forgot. On Tarot 2, I stitched that on, or I'm stitching that on DMC, is it Magic Guide? It's a 25 count DMC fabric, 1/1 full cross. And that is a max color chart as well. I do sometimes forget to say that. So Beloved, again, is this next project, and this one's being stitched on a 28 count, 1/1 full crosses. And I got 1,000. Okay, so this one is I worked on it yesterday. I went up to I don't even know, Midvale. Yeah, I was in Midvale, which is near like Salt Lake-ish up north from me, to hang out with some of my stitching friends. And I took this project and did that while we were just chatting and hanging out. And so I have numbers for January, and then I did do some technically in February, but I forgot to take a picture before I started working on it yesterday. So this is going to be farther along than just the January, but so in January I got 1,069, and then from yesterday I got another 503 stitches. So I think it's a total of 1,572 stitches, but one of those days was in February, and I'm sitting at 15.69%. And here's where we're at from last time. God, sometimes you just have to look at the image like on a camera or when somebody else like holds it away from you. Because working on the top of her head here, which is what I've been working on, I did fill in all of his face, so his face is completely done down to her head. And then I just started filling in back and forth the shading in there. Sometimes you just need to kind of hold it away from yourself for it to make sense. There's only like 27 colors, I think, in this one. And sometimes it looks really weird when I'm stitching it, and then I pull it away and it all makes sense. I actually had someone, we were stitching in the coffee shop yesterday, and someone stopped and looked at this, and they're like, that looks like it takes a lot of time and patience. And I'm like, yes it does. But I am loving how this is turning out. Her hair is coming in really nicely. I feel like the next couple times I show this, it's going to be really hard for you guys to see the progress, because even now there's like some super light, I think it's 3865 stitches in here, and there's a huge block of them underneath. So I'm not sure how well that next set of progress is going to show up, but we'll see. So that was Beloved. And then my next one is Mini Loyalty, another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. Artist is Cherie Gerhardt. Mine is stitched on, again, a 28 count 1/1 full crosses. And I use DMC for basically anything that I work on. I know some people use like CXE and stuff, but I just use DMC. I think I have 2 projects that might have some specialty thread, but I'll tell you if that's the case. So for Mini Loyalty, I stitched 623 stitches, and I'm now sitting at 31.94%. So excuse the hanging thread. So this is where we're at from last time. And I did note on my last video, I'm actually gonna pull it back, that I actually did have some progress down this way that wasn't there before on my whip braid. So I am sorry if you couldn't see that. But lately I have just been trying to fill in. So I finished a whole page and a partial this way. I'm trying to finish these 2 pages right here. So I filled in a lot of the badger all through here, kind of brought this stuff down, did this stripe, and I'm just bringing all the stripes down to where the page ends, which I actually think is right where I parked that, because I was like, okay, I'm done with black. Pick it up again on the next page down. So got a decent amount of stitches in on this one. I think I must have gotten 3 rotations. I do 500 stitches on full coverage before I switch to a new one. So I got over 1,600. So if I was trying to like finish part of I guess it wouldn't be a motif, but like if I was trying to finish a detail or a color or something, I would just keep stitching till I was done with that. So I did go over a bit. But I think that is looking super awesome. And hopefully I'll have some page finishes on this soon. There's not that much left. I think another, probably like 2-3 months might do it. So my next whip is Winter Sampler. This is a Kooler Design Studio chart, and the artist, I believe, is Sandy Orton. And I'm stitching mine on a 32 count Ivory Lugana 2/2. Full crosses, but then there's all sorts of partials and backstitching and stuff. So I put in 610 stitches on this, and I'm sitting at 55.88%. And I'm going to hold it in here because this is the only place I worked. This whole section here is for like New Year's. And so since we were in January, I was trying to focus on this side of the chart, and I did manage to get a lot of this top banner. So this is actually the very top of the chart. We've reached the top corner, which is exciting. So since these lines were really long at the top, I did take this green up here so that I made sure to not count incorrectly. Since we're in February now, this other side, which I've done a little bit over here with the heart motif, I think I'll actually move the Q-snap over this way, and I'll probably start working on more of the Valentine's Day section next time it gets spun. So I think for that I would have gotten, so 250 is what I do for non-full coverage, so I must have gotten 2 rotations on this. So I really love that. I like these blues that they use, they're really pretty. All right, so next up is the Crowned Heart, which is a modern folk embroidery pattern. And mine is stitched on a 16 count Ada in the color Woodland by Picture This Plus. And I'm doing it 2 strands over 1 square. And on this one, I got 1,024 stitches, and I'm sitting at 14.93%. I got quite a few rotations on this one. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to hold this on. So this is where we're at from last time. And I am starting to extend further this way, so I gotta hold it back a bit. But yeah, racked up over 1,000 stitches on this one, which was a big change. So I took it down a little bit further this way, decided that I really just like going across the top and then going down, especially on non-full coverage. So I went this way a little bit further, and then I came back up here and started going that way. And I reached, this is the midpoint of the chart right here. And right underneath it was the crown. I'll insert a picture of that part of the pattern, but I dropped down and I'm starting on the middle part. So I just got really tired of doing the same design over and over again, even though it looks really good, but I was just getting a little burnt out on it. So I dropped down and I'm officially working some in the middle. And I think I'll probably, just so I make sure that the the border gets done and I don't get left with that at the end, I'll probably kind of go back and forth, work middle, then the next time work in the border, and just keep going back and forth. So they both get done and I'm not left with just border at the end. But I am super excited to get started in the middle. That's going to be really fun. So that is the Crowned Heart. And I did do this as a wedding sampler. All right, so next one is Legend of Zelda. This is my last full coverage. I forgot out right now. I'm stitching, this is from Etsy. I keep forgetting to figure out what the name of the shop was. I'll try to do that. Apologies if you've gone looking and couldn't find it. So I'm stitching mine on a 28 count easy count fabric, 1 over 1 full crosses, and I got 1,127 stitches, and I'm sitting at 3.55%. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of an awkward up and down here. So there's the comparison from last time. So I got a decent amount of stitches in, but again, with full coverage, it's doesn't always go super far. Although on this one, because I was outlining and also I filled in his hat, it is a little bit more noticeable this time around. So I had to focus. I asked my husband usually, because this piece is for him, where he wants me to stitch. And first he's like, I just want to see the rest of the outline of his arm and his sword. So I finished that off. even started doing a little bit of the background black down there just to finish that. And then I finished off his hat, even though my husband, again, he was like, just keep outlining his body so I can see like the shape of him. But I got really burnt out with black. So I came in and did his hat, which is looking so cool. Really, really love the effect of the stained glass. So I just love working on this one for whatever reason. It's a lot of fun for me. Maybe it's because it's like a coloring book where you kind of outline and then color. Either way, I'm always happy when it gets spun. So, all right, next up is Twisted Rainbow Sampler, which is a pattern by Northern Expressions Needlework. And I am stitching mine on a 32 count black Lugana, 2/2 for the regular cross stitches, and then my version has specialty stitches, which I do with so far one strand. I think there's one specialty stitch that calls for 2, but generally it's just 1. So I've been doing that for the specialty stitches. So I've gotten 443 cross stitches, and then I also did half of a specialty stitch band, and I don't really know or care to count those. I don't know how to count them, and I was just like, it's fine. So this is my progress from last time. Looks so cool. So like I said, I got 443, which finished off this half a band. So my kind of goal for a month was to do half a band, which when these shorter ones, it's much more doable. I know because I'm only like 2 or 3 bands from hitting the other corner, which means that the bands are going to get considerably longer. I'm probably not going to be able to do that every time, but I did manage to finish off this one. So I've got 3 full bands, and then I started I finished half. So I've finished 4 colors and 3 bands. And I actually spun this one again after I finished my 500 stitches on Beloved yesterday. So I will be trying to finish off the second half of this band. Shouldn't be too hard. I only have, since the first color took up 3 stitches, there's only 2 stitches on the other side to mimic the first 2. So it should go faster. So finish off band number 4, hopefully. I don't know if it'll be today. I am going to have some to my in-laws to have dinner, which is not too far off, and then I've got to edit and post this video too, so we'll see. But it'll be my next one I work on. Love this. I switched from the regular cross stitch to specialty stitches, and I am so glad that I did that. All right, so that was project number 7, sorry. Got 2 more. Next one is Lady of the Mist, which is a Mirabilia pattern by Nora Corbett. And I'm stitching mine on a 32 count Lugana in the color Sprite by Picture This Plus. And this one, so I don't count stitches on paper patterns or for like back stitch, specialty stitch, those kinds of things. So I don't really have numbers on this one, but I did work I've been giving it about 2 to 3 days every time the wheel calls it. So I've gotten about 5, maybe 6 at the most days on this. But here's the progress. Probably gonna do like an up and down here from last time. So as you can see, I've done a decent amount of progress, not as much as maybe I could have, but I get a little bogged down with reading the paper patterns, so it goes a little bit slower. So I started over here, did a little bit more in these like trees or vines or whatever they are, and then I did 1 strand in this variegated floss that goes all the way around, which was really fun. I really I'll pull it in and you can see the colors. And then came over here and I was sick of her looking like an alien, so I backstitched her face, filled in a little bit more of her skin, and then started filling in these flowers in her hair. So pull it in a little bit. So if you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see the variegation super well, but it's like a peach, tan, brown, almost maroon. Like it's a really pretty, that's the problem with this is it washes out the color a little bit. So it's a really pretty variegated floss. And like I said, there's just like one line of this that goes all the way around the inside. And then there's her face, which looks really good. I had done the back stitch for her eyebrow and the lashes, and then I went to pull out the color that was supposed to go for like her lips and her eyelid and around her face. Realized it was the only empty card in the floss box. I apparently did not remember that I didn't go get that color for the back stitch, so I never realized that at like 10 o'clock at night. So I went the next day, got that, and finished it up later that evening. I really like how that's turning out. Her face looks really good. I will probably stick here the next time and try to finish off these flowers. There's actually 2 variegated flosses that I'll be using in there. And then if I have enough time after this is finished, or I'll just wait for the next rotation after that, I'll start pulling her skin all the way down and try to get to like the shoulders of her dress. Because her dress is big. I'd like to start working on it. So, but love that. Really, really enjoy that pattern. The paper chart always kind of gets me a little bit, but the end result is worth it. Okay, so last but not least is One Ring to Rule Them All. This is another Etsy pattern by Teajeigh Designs, I think. And I'm stitching mine on 18. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 18 count Phoenix by Bestitch Me, 2/1 full crosses with DMC Etoile, the black, the 310. I think it's C310. So it's got a little bit of sparkle. You probably won't be able to see it too well with the lighting being off, but I put in 661 stitches and I'm sitting at 11.77% done. And I'm gonna pull it in. I do have more done that way, but this is where I was working. Looks so good. I'm actually gonna, here's the comparison. I always forget to do that. So that's the comparison to last time. As you can see, I put in the word rings here, and then I came over here and started doing this curly Q thing here in the corner to try and work on a little bit of the border. So I think the first rotation I did this word, and then the second time I picked it up, I came back to the border. Trying to kind of do the same thing with like my the crowned heart, where I do some of the stuff that's a little tedious and then I go back and forth, so I'm not left with one or the other exclusively by the end. So that's how far I've gotten. So like I said, there's more that way, but I'm trying to start at the top and go down, which is working well so far. I wonder if you can see any of the, yeah, I'm not sure you're gonna see any of the sparkle there in the etoile. It's not like a metallic, it's pretty subtle, but in person it looks really cool. So this was my last project. Because of the way I do my wheel, I usually end up going through all my projects at least one time. Some of them, as you saw, went through 2 to 3 times. But again, with February being a shorter month and I'm back in school and that's taking up some of my time, it probably won't be that often, but you should at least see all of my projects, at least for a little bit of progress each time. So I stitched a total of, from Pattern Keeper, 7,562 stitches. But then obviously I don't count the specialty stitches or the paper chart for Lady of the Mist. So with all of that, I would say I probably got up to at least 8,000 stitches for January, which was really good. Again, I don't expect that to continue with the change of my schedule. So yeah, that's all my progress this time around. If you were just here for that, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you come back again in March. I have every intention of keeping this up at the beginning of every month. My husband's birthday is on March 1st, so that one, not quite sure yet when I will record, but on the 1st will not be an option. So anyway, have a great day if that's all you were here to see, and I hope I see you again next time. There really hasn't been too much happening in life lately. It's really just kind of been, since school started, just work, school, same old, chores, errands, cooking, cleaning, sleeping, you know, all of that fun everyday stuff. So my plan is to keep doing the rotation as I've been doing it. So far it's working really well for me. I'm not getting bored. I'm actually enjoying every single thing that I pick up, which was not happening before. I was having certain projects that I was always dreading to pick up, so that's been a nice change. So as I said before, I'm rotating. I actually used to have one wheel. I did split it to two, so that is a change that I did make, where I put my non-full coverage on one and my full coverage on the other. So I have 5 non-full coverage and 4 full coverage. So it's a pretty even split. But I was finding that when I had them all together, the split was like, I wasn't going back and forth between the two types. And so I would end up doing like 3 non-full coverages in a row before I'd get a full coverage. And I liked the back and forth between the two. It just works for my brain. So I did split them up into separate wheels. And then since there's one more non-full coverage, I'll spin that one first at the beginning of a brand new rotation where I've worked on everything. I'll reset the wheels, and then I'll start with non-full coverage, and I'll just go back and forth until I've worked on everything, and then I'll reset and do it again. And I've been maintaining about 250 for the non-full coverage and 500 for full coverage. And again, I do exceed that a little bit if I'm trying to finish like a piece of the picture or just like a thread I'm working on or something, it'll go up, but seems to be working for now, so we'll see. That is my plan for now. I don't have any plans to start anything. I don't have any haul or anything. This is pretty much going to be it every month. It's just going to be, hey, here's my progress. So maybe I'll throw in a start eventually if I feel like it. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on now. I hope you all have had a wonderful January and that February is just as good or better. And yeah, I will see you again at the beginning of March. Enjoy your stitching. See you guys.